Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you have been enjoying this interview series on project management without the project manager title. Throughout this series, we have been speaking with professionals who deliver complex projects, coordinate teams, and drive change, even though project manager isn't written on their business card. And today, I'm delighted to welcome Tam Abaku. Tam is a governance and policy professional with more than 15 years of experience across project services, international HR, fintech, and digital transformation. She has coordinated major international projects, managed complex stakeholder relationships, led process improvement initiatives, and earned her PMP certification, all without holding a formal project manager title. Her career is a fantastic example of how project management skills create value far beyond traditional project manager roles. Tam, thank you so much for joining us today in this discussion.
Thank you, Paulina, for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to talk about the project management profession because each project is different and each project environment also differs, just as the sponsors do. It's really about the experience and what I do or what we do that shapes the discussion. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Tam. So to start off, could you please tell us and shed a light a little bit into your career journey? I know that you have worked through different industries. Could you please tell us how your career evolved and what does your current role look like? Just to give an impression of what you do and to understand where you're coming from.
This is a very interesting question because, first of all, thank you for my profile you just read out. I can't tell how you did it, but you did a good job of scripting who I am. Some people call me a generalist, but I choose to see myself as a T-shaped professional. Why do I say so? So I have this project management professional certification, but I also have a broad technology and compliance knowledge, which shape what I do. Actually, I started off just after school. I started off with an NGO. They hired me for a project. As at then, I called it a project, but it was actually a portfolio of projects. 9 concurrent projects were all running with some sub-projects within them. And these 9, all of them, of course, were well documented. They called it the Bible. So each of them with different groups of stakeholders. So all of them had these institutional, governmental, and organizational stakeholders and the people, the target people that we chose to give value to through what we were doing. It was such a complex project. I could count how many nights, without exaggerating, that I slept normal sleep. I was hired as personnel to manage, but to be honest with you, it was a multinational NGO, meaning multiple countries. And it had an official administrative headquarters, but it also had the headquarters that managed the finances, where the fundings were truly managed and coming from. And I was in that position. So I was both finance and admin person. But then, interestingly, if you measure and look at it, it's actually a project manager's position. Okay, without the title. And then, because it's also not called a project manager's position, the negotiations around it meant I had not much authority to stand up for what should be. And by the way, I wasn't also certified, so I also did not know what the industry looked like and what rights I truly had. Remember, I just left school and I was doing this work. Thankfully, I had already acquired some good organizational skills, time management skills, multitasking skills, and a bit of people skills. I won't say much of people skills then. And then I also, of course, had done industrial training and internships in organizations while in school, because when you go through the Polytechnic, it's an obligation. You have to do all of this internship. I did all of those things, and they helped me to stay focused in managing. And then I had subordinates, by the way, but they were very supportive. And that's how I managed to scale through that space. But then from there, I moved on to the oil and gas sector. Again, it was a project. They were just going to start the first deep water project, and they needed someone to come in and receive the team, which were all purely technical engineers. You're talking of reservoir engineers, geophysicists, geoscientists, drilling engineers, completion engineers, subsea engineers, all of them like so specialized team, but then they needed somebody who is not into the technicalities of the task, that would manage the team, receive them, make sure the office is in order, set up the office, organize everything needed so that the project work stays aligned with time within the scope, and then no scope creep occurs, and that they are able to deliver as time goes on. Now, there is a lot of multitasking in this role. I know the NGO was really demanding, but then I would say highly poorly organized at the NGO space, because there is a structure, but then you have this person at the top who was always taking the final decision. And institutions that fund the highest percentage coming up last minute, telling you to submit a proposal, telling you to resume a particular task that you cannot say no to, because otherwise the funds are not coming. But now in the oil and gas sector, it came with different shades. You see a lot of engineers around you, but nobody in this office where I went into really knew how things were going to be. There was no office for us, the project that was being initiated.
Wow.
I was just sitting somewhere there. It wasn't long, of course. It became part of my work to manage the plotter. And then my job, while I was waiting to receive everyone, I had to receive the rig reports, organize them into a structured data format, share in shared space where everyone can see and know what's going on, understand where they were, where we are at, what is the next step to take, all of those reports. I was doing all of that, and then I had to receive everyone. I had to set up the office. I had to move people from different locations to come into this new project site and the building. I organized the team. I was able to do a smooth landing for everyone, smoothly organized everything, so there was no what we call man-hour loss or interruption with operational activities, even on the rig. No, anyone who needed to go to the rig, the planning was so smooth, they will go. There was nothing like, oh, I did not inform, so there was no helicopter to fly people. No, I communicated with multiple stakeholders, those working directly with us, those working across different countries, receiving people coming from everywhere, interacting and interfacing with consultants from service companies, all of that. And that project went well. And then we had a second deepwater project. I was also on board that project for the same specialized team of drilling and completion and geoscience and all of that. And then a third one, and the third one also started, in fact, drilled their first oil before I finally decided to leave the oil and gas.
Can I just ask you, what was your position called in that case of oil and gas industry? Because you have described an immense amount of tasks that you did. And just out of curiosity, how was it called? You just demonstrated a lot of project management behind the role, but the role might be called differently. Can you just tell us, if you remember, what was the position?
Yeah, I remember as coordinator.
But coordinator.
Get it right was more like a coordinator role, but get it right that I had multiple teams, but interfacing teams, like they have to work cross-functionally. I was just at the center managing all of these teams. Then another layer was a host of service companies that provide services, because for those teams, if you ever work in the oil and gas sector, they must always have these external service providing companies, because those ones will come in whenever there is the need for specialists to look beyond what maybe the internal team is not seeing, and immediately we have to fly them offshore, or they will come into the office and they are tracking. And of course, there are also a few of them that sit with us in the physical office, but then they are not necessarily from the company I'm working for, and I'm still responsible for them. But they will be monitoring the activities, discussing with the people on the rig. If any need is required to send someone offshore, then they will also call their own office to say, we need 2 people or 1 person to go offshore. Then the whole communication, I'm also at the center. As soon as I know someone needs to go to the rig, I'm also coordinating with what we call the tech log. Their role is to manage helicopter, planning personnel on board, who goes offshore, who is coming out of offshore, provide a report for us to know indeed who really went, who did not go. And in case of any emergency, they are the ones that will provide what we call POB, personnel on board, for authorities who need to investigate what went wrong. So that's the team. And between that team and the main drilling and completion and reservoir engineering and UFR teams is also the safety HSC, meaning health, safety, and environment team. So that HSC team ensures that the zero tolerance for non-safety compliance is maintained, because their role is to look into industrial hazard, look into, are people complying with the safety rules and measures? They look into, do we have the appropriate PPE, meaning personal protective equipment?
It's really incredible. But yeah, also what I wanted to say is that you said that this role was like a coordinator, right? This is what I have also seen a lot throughout my career. I have also started from the coordinator job, like a team coordinator. They are usually called coordinator, but in the end, what I have also noticed is that project manager jobs, or people with this project manager DNA, they're actually leaders. The people that are doing the job on the rig, the people that are working for instance, in the environment protection department, they are important, they are subject matter experts. But in the end, to make this machine work, all these parts of the machine, people like you and me and the other project managers out there, or people with a project manager DNA, they're actually the leaders. It's not only coordination, it's the leadership when you have to take sometimes decisions. Of course, some decisions you cannot decide on your own, but yeah, most of the time you are doing decisions every day, each day. So yeah, this is also what I wanted to say, that mostly project managers are actually leaders in their DNA. Even though you're probably starting as an entry-level job as a coordinator, this is something in your DNA. This is at least what I have learned. Okay?
Absolutely.
So then let's move on to your current role. If you can briefly describe what you do. And also, actually, how did you move to PMP? What was your motivation through all these experiences in career, and maybe understanding that, I'm actually doing project management, yeah? How did you move on to, wanting to get certified? What was your story behind that?
Certification came much later because I was already doing the work anyway. I was constantly seeing myself in project management environments, and eventually I left, as I told you. When I left, I was already beginning to have the desire to work within the public sector. My motivation suddenly shifted from doing what I was doing, which was great, to be honest, because by the time I moved across these 3 different deep water projects, the team, mainly male dominated, as you can tell, I had already won their support. I became indispensable. It became more of a relational working environment where we were becoming like a family. One of my boss said, it's a cult. Once in, you can't get out. We bonded well. But then here I was thinking, no, I need to do something differently, something else, something different. The desire to do something else began to grow in me. But then, interestingly, something happened within that same organization. The human resources department had some crisis. I don't want to go deep into that, but then they reached out now to my team and said they needed somebody like me. Now, get it right. It's not because of my color, my shape, my height. They needed somebody who had those traits. Whatever I was doing that was making this team I was in to be so well bonded that we were all getting along appealed to the crisis-acted team, human resources team, where it was a bit different from the way we worked in the technical team where I was. They reached out to the manager then if they could move me into the international human resources team, because now they needed somebody who can stand in the midst of the company I worked for is a multinational. You practically would find people from all countries all over the world.
Yes.
They wanted me to come in and manage these diverse cultural experts who were coming in to work for the company, because that international HR team is the first point of, before even they come, you reach out to their countries, discuss with them, receive them, and then integrate them into the system, acculturize them, help them settle in. They need anything. All along their stay, you manage them until whenever they leave. And they needed somebody. I think they tried to search and they realized I was the one. Okay.
That's pleasant to hear.
So, pleasant to hear, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. It was a surprise to me because I did not even think they would come for me. But yeah, they did.
A very common trait I see in project managers that we are very humble. You have described a lot of tasks that we do and we take a lot of decisions, but then in the end we are very humble. When someone comes and says, oh, look, I want you did a great job, we become quite not ourselves. Like when we are doing our job we are decisive, but when it comes to praising us we become very humble and very shy and timid. In a way it is true. This is also something common.
You. I was really surprised. It became more relational than some sort of strict professional. To me, I was only doing my work in that technical team. I went with a servant leader approach. My mind was, there is a lot of work here. These people are purely technical. They do not just know how these things work. I will try my best to make sure that there is no gap, there is no issue. And so I was just focused on doing my own thing. But you know how I knew they appreciated me? Each time any one of them went on vacation, I always got chocolate pack when they come back. The work, to be honest, even for them, is not an easy work. If you know what it means to work on the rig and do all of those jobs.
Yes.
So whenever we successfully completed a well, we must go out for some dinner or drinks and things like that. And I was always with the team. And then I moved to this new role. It wasn't like the team where I'm coming from, but then I was able to adapt. Now remember what Charles Darwin said, it's not the strongest or the smartest that survive. It is the most adaptable to change that survives, right?
Yes.
After 1 week, my former boss was following up. And he said, how is it going? I said, fine. He said, really? And I just shared a few things I observed with him and told him, but you know what? I'm on top of it. And he told me, I'm proud of you.
So in the end, your boss, which is usually a people leader, also celebrated your win, right?
Yeah.
He said something nice to you. I see this is also something important, because in the end, every project manager is also managed by someone, right? Because it's usually the structure. And there have been times, for instance, me from my own experience, that where I have faced a good manager who would also celebrate my wins, but also some that wouldn't be so nice to me. And in the end, it affects you, because every project manager should be taken care of as well.
I agree with you totally. Because there are times you feel a bit of, am I on track? You feel you need someone to check up on you and at least say something to you to ensure that you are still aligned, right?
Yes, and in the end, it's a job, but this human touch is always appreciative. And in the end, project management is a lot about managing people. And like you said, it's relational more than anything. Technical is very important, but in the end, we're all humans, and this is really important in our job.
Totally agree with you. So fast forward, I stayed in that international HR role for 3 years, whereas in the technical team, I had spent 9 years, by the way. I told myself, okay, I think I'm done. I really need to do something else.
Which is also normal to want to do something different.
Yeah, absolutely. Change. Yeah. That was when the night before I had put in my resignation, got everything sorted out, I wrote a lengthy email appreciating everyone, the whole company, whoever I have worked with. By the time they got to the office, I had already gone. And they started reaching out to me by social media, mobile phone, everywhere, to know what went wrong. I said, no, nothing went wrong.
Just it was time.
I think every project manager should have. Is it a weapon or a useful tool? Is always smile. When people smile, it's not because they figured everything out. No, it's just that smiling helps attract people to you, and smiling makes your brain feel all is well. You can keep going. So I'm always smiling. They didn't see me traumatized. They didn't see me upset. They didn't see me complain about anything.
Yeah, something that I also advocate for is that project managers and project leaders are those people that actually create the environment in the project. Because many times people don't understand what project managers do. That's why I'm having this channel to showcase what is project management. It's not only just coordinating tasks and you do that and how does it go, because many times I hear that this project manager just calls me in and asks if this task is on time. Yes, we do that. But project management is so much more, like you say exactly, it's about creating this environment. We have described a lot of tasks that you did. I understand that you have a very intense career, but let's come a little bit into technicalities of project management, because we said it's a lot about stakeholder management, celebrating the wins, something that we have also showcased here, which is important both from our side, but we also require actually our managers to celebrate our wins, right? Because we are also people and we also appreciate this. But let's come back to project management technicalities. And can you please tell our viewers, how did you manage actually those stakeholders, those tasks? Because you had an immense amount of work. So please, can you tell how did you actually organize yourself and which tools maybe you used and routines?
Absolutely.
Your secrets a little bit.
Yeah. Several tools. Nowadays, people talk so much about technology and AI, but right all the way back then, in the NGO, maybe not too many, because I did also a lot of face-to-face, which is to date the best form of communication. But then I used Excel mainly in the end. While I was doing administrative work and financial work, the financial work became more overwhelming. Why? Because I was managing donors' accounts. I was always working across different spreadsheets. And so main tool I would say for the NGO was Excel. But then come to the oil and gas sector, I can tell you, they used to call it MS planning. Then I used this internal tool, which I used to manage the planning of the personnel. Right.
What I want to also ask you, because you have mentioned like Excel, which is really now is still a tool number one, I think, for project management, especially in NGOs. This is also something that I have seen, and also in the previous series of the interviews, I had actually 2 people from NGOs, and they have also mentioned that they are using Excel for task management. But what I want to ask also is, how did you organize yourself? The way I see it is that project managers are also very good in organizing themselves, because everything starts from you, right? If you cannot organize yourself, you cannot organize other people.
Organizing myself is the easiest one, and that's the easiest question I can answer. To manage my own self, simple, Google Calendar and my phone alarm.
Tam, since we have discussed a lot today, I want to still to come back to the question of when this idea of getting PMP and packing all this project management baggage that you had into some certification actually came to your mind. I'm interested about that because I have spoken to different project managers with title, without title, with PMI standards. I will talk also to someone who has Prince 2 certification. So I'm just curious of what is the motivation behind? What was your motivation?
Yeah. So I was working, I think it all started from the oil and gas sector. Absolutely, yes. I saw myself doing this whole work. By the way, before PMP, I had the Institute of Chartered Secretaries certification, which today it's called the UK Corporate Governance certification. So I learned all of that. And then I said, wait, by the way, I've been working on projects. Why don't I also think of getting certified in project management? Perhaps then it will open up bigger roles, give me more opportunities, and maybe I could go higher than just being the coordinator doing all of this and running around. Found one learning center and I said, okay, let me see, what is it really? What does it even require? I tried to go through this whole training. It was like a lot. I left it at some point, then eventually moved to the HR, then left the company, went back to school. did my e-governance and public sector innovation thing. Paulina, this e-governance public sector innovation program is an interesting one because it moves you across so many things to learn. One of them was project management. The lecturer in Germany used the PMBOK to train us in class because it was a full semester course, project management. And I said, so after the whole rigorous training I went through with all that I learned, I said, okay, you know what? Now it's time to quickly save up and write this exam. So I applied, I wrote the exam and got it at first attempt, which was
Congratulations. Great. That's a good achievement because many people failing actually on the first attempt.
I know. I think it's a miracle I passed then because I did not know initially that it was such a high failure rate thing.
Yeah, so you said that you did these jobs, these experiences, and then you started to look maybe into PMP. So now already having this PMP certification.
Yeah.
What did it give you? Like, how do you feel about it now that you are PMP certified?
I'll tell you, after I did the e-governance and the innovation thing, which is essentially public sector digital transformation, I said to work in the public sector for digital transformation, there are two things that I must meet. I will meet with politicians, all those stakeholders with different interests. In that regard, stakeholder management, which I have almost always done all my life, can help me. However, for every transformation I will have to do, it will be a project because I'll have to start. I'll have to follow certain steps. I need tools and techniques that can help me achieve this. So if I am able to perhaps really learn this project management in depth, maybe I will find all those tools, techniques, and things that, like affinity diagram, like when you want to analyze data or something, what do you use? Sometimes you're stuck. For this kind of data, what do I use? PMP, the book gives you different diagrams and tools and charts. All the tools will be suitable for analyzing a scenario like this. This tool will really come handy to discuss and present this kind of result. This tool will be good to do this. I said the PMP has all the tools for the different scenarios, for different cases, for different kind of tasks, depending on what you're doing. I think I will go and do PMP. By the time I get certified, I would have learned to know how to use all of these, and I'll have access to as they say, to their resource center, where I can always, whenever I need to do something, I'll go there, pick a reference tool, use it, adapt it to my scenario, and I'll stand out. That was the core driving. So I have learned, of course, project management at school, and now I know what it is, but I wanted to have it as an authority to give me that audacity, the boldness, not being arrogant per se, but the boldness to say, hey, I am a professional in this regard, so I can run this project and present a good, clean report that will respond to different stakeholder needs.
Yeah, I share the same feeling that, okay, we have project management in our DNA and we have been doing it in different jobs, but getting and learning for the PMP exam and getting the certification gave me more confidence and, as you say, like more techniques that could be used for different stakeholders, for persuading different stakeholders. Having the certification demonstrates that you have those skills. It's more than anything, it gives you confidence, and also what I like about it is that it gives you this community, because you and me, we met actually in this community in one of the conferences.
Absolutely, yes.
And yeah, we are keeping in touch, and that's, for me, that's the beauty of it, because it's like without even saying anything, we understand each other and we speak the same language. In that sense, that's a big benefit. To be honest with you, that's it. Like you said, the community, apart from the platform resources, the community, you can meet people who are perhaps working on or have worked on something you are currently working on, and you can pick their brains to even get some idea to help you. That is one. But then if you go onto the platform
for the resources provided. By the time you spend a few hours, you will stumble on useful resources that you can pick, adapt, and move a bit faster with your project.
Okay, thank you for sharing your experiences. And since we have come almost towards the end of the interview, what skills do you think professionals should be developing today to be good for the future, right? Because the future is already tomorrow with AI and all the technology.
The future is here. There is no future.
Yes.
To be very honest on this question, by the way, it's a very good question, Paulina, because I also perceive people are getting confused. So the skills people should focus on is soft skills. Technical skills are good, but they are limited. Why do I say so? You cannot learn all the technical skills and you cannot even know it all. So try to have, as much as possible, soft skills. Soft skills like think more collaboratively than competition. Adaptability. No two project environments, no matter how similar, will be the same. So learn to adapt. No two sponsors will be the same. Ask yourself, what can I do? There is a book called She Stooped to Conquer. I'm not saying go down to trash your values. No, please have high values, but learn to adapt to any job you get. Remember, you own the process and you own the success. So adapt. Let them know you are the professional. You know how to manage people. Then, please, as much as possible, develop your cultural coefficient, meaning have a high cultural intelligence. We are now in an environment where it's no longer about where do you come from, because somebody can actually, yes, originally be Estonian, but assuming the person has lived 20 years of their lives in Spain, come on, are you still really Estonian or Spanish? Try to understand that as people move from one culture to another, changes occur, and that you cannot judge somebody totally by their biological nationality. No, you will be missing out on understanding this person, right? And so you move, let's say you are an Estonian, very calm, quiet. You move to work for someone in Spain. They come in the morning, they are greeting you happily, but you feel they are screaming. No, they are not screaming. Read about the Spanish culture and know that speaking up and being lively and greeting someone is a way of expressing. So you must know that. And if you truly are a project manager, adapt. Then also think of being humble. You can never go wrong. Own up when you make a mistake and be ready to learn. You know, anybody and everybody you meet every day, or even after this event, if you step out, anybody you meet anywhere is a potential teacher. It depends on you if you are able to identify their area of specialization and quickly, like French people will say, profit from them. Have a servant leader mindset. So prioritize other people, not you. Apply yourself to active listening. Because sometimes people are talking to you, think they are saying so much. No, listen carefully. You will hear something if you do active listening. Another thing that is so important, which is also part of a cultural intelligence, is to be a sharp observer. Being observant means you can pick on verbalized cues. Because you'll meet people who appear to be so quiet. They are not necessarily talking. Perhaps that's the culture they have grown up in. These are the soft skills I would say you should focus on. Above all, know that you are in a lifetime journey of continuous learning. What you know today changes tomorrow. You must keep learning and be a fast learner too.
Yes, I couldn't agree more, Tam, actually, on your last tips. And I have really nothing to add. It's really complete. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experiences and your journey here on this channel with our viewers. We hope that it will be really helpful. And once more, our discussion is a reminder, right? That project management is about soft skills, as you say. It's about bringing clarity. It's about bringing people really together, bonding with people, and helping ideas become reality, right? Regardless whether you have a project manager title or not, right?
Yeah.
This is something that is happening every day in every project, in every organization. So with that, we will be wrapping up our discussion. Thank you so much, Tam. It was a pleasure really to talk to you. And all those that are watching this interview, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this conversation, please don't forget to like it, to subscribe, and to hit the notification bell so you don't miss the rest of our series, which will be, I think, also very interesting. And yes, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. And thank you so much, Tam, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Paulina. Thanks for the invitation.